What should be included in your parenting arrangement? In this video, I'm going to walk you through all the basics. Hi, I'm Caitlin Fox. I've been a family law attorney for 8 years. If you have any questions about parenting arrangements and your options for those parenting arrangements, leave them in the comments. What is a parenting arrangement? A parenting arrangement or agreement or plan is something that you put together with the other parent or the other custodial person in your case that allows you to decide what exactly your day-to-day looks like with your child or children. Why is it important to have a parenting arrangement or agreement? It's very important to have a parenting arrangement or agreement, whether it be something that comes from the court or something that you put together on your own with the other parent of your child or children or the other custodial person. And it's important to have one of these because it dictates what you'll do in the event that you can't agree on something. Or if you're looking for guidance on how to best parent with the other parent of your child, meaning how you make decisions for your child's day-to-day things like religious issues, educational issues, extracurricular activities, things like that, that would require potentially some guidance as to how to make those decisions. So what are the components of a parenting arrangement or agreement? The components can include things like physical custody, which would include where the child is on a day-to-day basis, which means, for example, the child is with one parent from Monday through Friday and with the other parent Saturday and Sunday. It also includes things like legal custody. So that's who makes decisions on behalf of the child. So really big things like medical or religious decisions. Other things that are included might be a vacation schedule or a holiday schedule, which can be really important because in cases where the parties don't get along, typically those are things that provide guidance to the parents and are things that they really can't wiggle out of. Another item that's important in a lot of parenting arrangements is the transportation issue. So who's bringing the child to what event or who's picking up the child for their custodial time. And this really actually comes into play a lot in parties or in situations where the parties live far apart or where one party only has supervised custody. So it's an important piece. How do you go about creating a parenting arrangement? First of all, I want to start with speaking to the other parent in your case, if that's applicable to your case. And if you're on decent terms and there's no domestic violence or anything like that, you might want to speak to them about what you think works best for your family, or speak to an attorney about what you think might be helpful to include in your parenting arrangement. And typically that gets drafted up into an agreement. You can include whatever you'd like so long as it's appropriate. And then it's typically going to get approved by the court when it's filed, so long as it does meet those parameters. Enforcing a parenting arrangement. Enforcement of a parenting arrangement is actually a very important component of family law. So these arrangements or agreements or even a court order are there for a reason. They're there for guidance for the parents. And when one party isn't complying with it, then it becomes a real problem. Things get interrupted, people miss events, kids miss things. So it's really important that that ability to enforce exists. And that happens when an order is filed with the court. So whether it's an agreement or it is an order that comes through after a judge enters it or after a hearing, that will be something that can be enforced. And when you enforce an agreement or an arrangement, what happens is that you file a document with the court. Sometimes it's called a petition for contempt. And what that's going to be is a document that asks the court to enforce that order and give you the relief that you need, whether that be makeup time or whether that be rescheduling a vacation or something to that effect. How does one go about modifying a parenting arrangement? Well, if you have an agreement or an order in place that's been filed with the court, then you're going to need to file to modify it. You can't just decide to change it on your own unless both parties agree to do that. If you want to do that, you're going to need to file a document with the court, a petition to modify, something of that nature. And you're going to request that the court change your order and give you the relief that you're seeking. But then you start the process all over again, and you're asking, the court to consider everything that they might consider when you go in front of them for a custody proceeding.